Hey there, Stanford fans. For the Bootleg, this is Abeytia here on the Stanford postgame report. On a sad senior day, Stanford comes up short, losing 73-70 to the now unquestionably NCAA tournament-bound Oregon Ducks in a game Stanford, I think most observers felt had to have. The Cardinal just couldn't get it done today. And sometimes the analysis is really just as simple as who makes the shots. Stanford on the season was a 40% three-point shooting team, and tonight they shot 21% from the field. Very uncharacteristic of the squad. Chasson Randall and Anthony Brown combined to shoot 3 of 14 from behind the three-point line, far below the season numbers that they've been able to accumulate this year. And really, it was a game of strength versus strength. It was really a question of Oregon's quickness advantage and Stanford's size advantage, and the game pretty much played out as we have expected. Stanford had an advantage at the free throw line. They were plus 11 over the Ducks in getting to the line. They were fairly relentless, pounding the ball inside. In the second half, driving the ball inside with Chasson Randall and Anthony Brown and Marcus Allen doing most of the attacking. But Oregon was able to get enough space from the three-point line to go plus 12 in that category, and that led it to the end game. And in the end game, Oregon was just a little bit more polished and a little bit better. They made their final 3 shots, whereas Stanford went 1 for its final 5 and 2 for its final 8 to close the game out. So even though the Ducks included 2 turnovers there at the end, they still had enough to win the game. Basically, the combination of Joe Young and Elgin Cook with 21 points each. Elgin Cook especially had a strong second half, going 5 of 6, 7 of 10 overall in the game, was just that much better. And you look at the score, and that's pretty much the margin. 73-70, a 3-point game. All kinds of what-ifs in the game, and everyone's tendency is to focus on the end game, but the truth is there were moments all game long where Stanford was just a little bit out of sorts, and that was the difference. If you look at the half-by-half score, the Cardinal put up 40 points in the second half, which is generally enough to win. The problem was the first half, they just couldn't get it going. They couldn't quite overcome the three-point shooting slump, and they only came up with 30 points in that first half. So a very tough loss for the team. And now moving forward, you have to talk realistically about their NCAA tournament hopes. You're talking about a team that has 18 wins. They're now looking up at Oregon, and they're looking up in the head-to-head at UCLA, who is right on their heels in terms of conference record. So Stanford at 18 wins, really the magic number remains 20 in the regular season. The problem is now that 20 would mean sweeping the desert, which hasn't happened this year and seems unlikely at this point. So given that fact, you're talking about some serious extra credit work in the Pac-12 tournament, and now Stanford has to consider possibly playing on Wednesday night in the play-in night of the tournament just to get to the quarterfinals and play a team that could boost their resume. So certainly things not looking the way Stanford fans hoped they'd look right around this time, but sometimes, as we said, the shots just don't go in, and it doesn't get much more complicated than that in terms of the analysis. Oregon was just a little bit better today at putting the ball in the hoop, and that was really the difference. So that's going to wrap it up here from Maples Pavilion. For everybody at the Bootleg, this is Abeytia saying good afternoon to everybody. We'll see you Thursday night. Stanford will be on the road against Arizona State in what is clearly now a must to the infinite power win for the Cardinal. Good night, everybody.